Hey everybody, here's a quick recap for the newly damned. Or you're just late to the blog. If you're new here, welcome. Grab a seat, preferably not one that's already moaning. I'm Eric Malden, former copywriter, one-time food blogger, and now accidental marketing strategist in hell. How did I get here? Long story short is, I clicked a mysterious email button, the floor literally swallowed me, and HR gave me a branded pitchfork pen and told me that I'm now in Soul Experience, Hell's in-house content division. Since then, I have attended a staff meeting with Satan. He uses a standing desk, by the way. Accidentally gone viral on Earth for making damnation sound like a wellness retreat. Survived Casual Flesh Friday. Pro tip, no polyester. Pitched a dating app for the damned during a blood-soaked brainstorming ritual. It's called Monster Mash. It's live, and it's disturbingly popular. Mostly because people that aren't necessarily damned are using it. In fact, I've gotten word that it's become the #1 dating app on Earth. Because monsters have been using it. Who knew? Developed what I can only describe as a working relationship with a sentient chair and a possible flirtatious office plant. And started, not falling for, probably, the office siren named Delilah. And Satan just promoted me to lead the Welcome Kit rebrand, which sounds great until you realize every promotion here comes with strings. And the strings are usually attached to things with teeth. And so, let's roll into entry 6. The Welcome Kit rebrand nearly killed me, and my chair is now making suggestions. Also, I may have been invited to a team-building exercise that sounds suspiciously like a hunt. The thing about getting promoted in hell is that no one congratulates you. No cupcakes, no great job emails with dancing gifs. You just wake up one morning, if you can call the shift between screaming hours morning, and there's a new keycard on your desk, a cryptic assignment in your inbox, and a faint smell of meat that you hope isn't coming from you. Mine was the Welcome Kit rebrand. Lucifer wanted something fresh, inviting, and ominous to give newly damned arrivals the instant sense that their eternity would both be uniquely personal and crushingly inevitable. I want a nap. So anyway, for reference, the old Welcome Kit was fine. A burlap tote bag with "See You Never" in block letters, a pamphlet explaining the circles, and a complimentary mug that screamed when you put anything hot into it. The copy was dated, the design clunky, and the branding inconsistent. Some mugs screamed in English, some screamed in whatever language your inner critic uses. Cheryl called it off message. Lucifer called it an embarrassment. And so, I began my first draft. I had pitched a tote bag made of recycled non-disclosure agreements, a small vial of forever air from your designated torment sector, a fold-out map that changes every time that you open it, and the mug stays, but now it whispers compliments that get progressively more unsettling. And Lucifer's feedback verbatim was, "To Etsy." And then there's the chair's feedback. Yes, the chair is talking now. Not just moaning or sighing, full-on sentences. I was in hour 3 of mock-up designs when I felt the cushion shift under me like it was interested. "You're leaning too hard on gimmicks," it said in a low, velvety rasp, and I froze. "You have opinions?" "I have taste. Go minimal. One object. Make them obsess over it. Make it alive." Which is how I ended up pitching the key. Not a key to anything useful, just a black, cold piece of metal with your name carved into it, but in someone else's handwriting. No explanation, no lock that it fits, just something to carry forever, leaving you wondering. Wouldn't you believe it? Lucifer loved it. The flame icon on my dashboard flared bright enough to make the monitor hum. After my monitor decided to cool down, not even 2 minutes later, I got a company-wide email that hit my inbox. Subject: Mandatory Synergy Experience. This Friday. Body: Dress for mobility. Bring your own weapon if preferred. No polyester. And violators will be digested. Jerry wandered by, still occasionally glitching in spreadsheet, and muttered, Hunt week already? That's early. And I asked who was being hunted, and he just smiled, double winked again, and then walked away. And as he was walking away, the plant started curling its vines around my keyboard. The chair is muttering about upping my personal brand, and Delilah just slid me a note that says, if you run fast. If you stay, sit with me. Either way, I think Friday is going to be eventful. Entry number 7. Mandatory synergy experience, or how I learned HR has a kill count. Also, Delilah kissed me. Kind of, and my chair is mad about it. Friday arrived the way that all days arrive in hell. Slow, inevitable, and smelling faintly of roasted ambition. The mandatory synergy experience reminder hit my inbox at 7:06 a.m., flashing in red font with a cheery footer that read, "Please arrive hydrated, well stretched, and prepared for pursuit." The plant had wrapped 3 vines around my wrist before I'd even logged in, whispering, "Don't go, you're too fresh." The chair unhelpfully muttered, "Run toward them. It's good for morale." Ugh. I decided to get up and head towards the briefing. Cheryl gathered us in the bone atrium, a large echoing lobby space that was exactly what it sounds like. She was holding a clipboard and wearing what I can only describe as tactical kitten heels. "Today's exercise," she began, "is designed to foster collaboration, sharpen instincts, and cull the underperforming." She had said it so casually that I nearly missed the last part. She went on to explain the rules, and frankly, they were pretty simple. You run, you hide, and senior management hunts you. If you happen to be tagged, you're synergy processed. No one explained what that meant, but Jerry quietly crossed himself in binary. And so with that, the hunt began. At the starting of the horn, a scream from somewhere high above, we scattered. Lila from UX immediately floated out of sight. Hover privileges. It's really an unfair advantage. Jerry sprinted into a cubicle maze, muttering spreadsheet formulas like protective charms, and I chose the elevator, which was a mistake. It dropped me 3 floors past anywhere mapped into a dim corridor where the walls pulsed like they were remembering something, and footsteps had echoed behind me. Measured, confident, not running, just following. I ducked into a supply closet. Wrong move. Inside, only an unplugged fax machine quietly sobbing in a box labeled unclaimed parts. And that is when Delilah appeared. No footsteps, no warning, just there, leaning in the doorway with a smile that looked expensive and dangerous. "You're bad at hiding," she said, stepping closer. "Lucky for you. I'm good at distractions." And before I could answer, she pressed her mouth to my cheek. Soft, warm, smelling like citrus and sin. It wasn't a kiss so much as a nightmare. She pulled back just as a shadow slid past the door. Lucifer's shadow. He didn't look in. He didn't need to. And Delilah smirked. "See? Synergy." She was gone again, leaving me in a closet with a fax machine asking if I was its new owner. So I bet you're wondering what happened. Well, the good news is I survived. Don't ask how, mostly just by running towards noises other people were screaming away from. And when the horn sounded again, we reassembled in the bone atrium. 3 people were missing. And Cheryl marked it down like she was noting who'd forgotten to submit PTO. Lucifer ended up giving a short approving nod at the survivors. "Good. Fear keeps the brand honest." By the time I got to my desk, I was completely wiped. But unfortunately, I would not get a chance to rest, because back at my desk, the plant's vines were curled tight, almost sulking.
You smell like her.
I don't...
You do. She's dangerous.
The chair chimed in.
So are you. That's why I like you.
Great. Now my office furniture is jealous. I need to lock out for the day. Let me take a quick look at what I got going on tomorrow. Great. A new assignment. A blog post titled 5 Network Tips That Will Still Matter After You're Damned. I'm considering starting it with Step 1. Don't die in a synergy hunt. Entry 8. Lucifer's feedback session. A date I definitely shouldn't go on, and why the plant is now calling me darling. If there's one thing that I learned here, it's that Lucifer doesn't call you in the way a normal boss would. There's no meeting request, no polite knock on your cubicle. One moment you're at your desk poking at a sentence that refuses to work, and the next the floor beneath you is sliding open, smooth and silent, and you're descending into a room that smells like polished marble and the exact memory of your worst mistake. And that is how my morning started. The room that he brought me in was smaller than I expected, almost intimate. The walls were black glass, and the only light came from a long, sleek desk in the center. Lucifer was sitting behind it, fingertips pressed together, eyes fixed on me in a way that made me feel like I was a bullet point in a presentation called Opportunities for Improvement.
Eric,
he said, and my name sounded like it had been run through a focus group before reaching his mouth.
Monster Mash is interesting. Numbers are up. Engagement is steady. But you understand that we're not here to date our captives or promote the dating of monsters up on Earth. We're here to deepen their attachment to the brand.
I nodded, unsure if it was in agreement or self-preservation. He rose, circling the desk.
You've got an instinct for the emotional hook. That's good. Dangerous, even. But remember, every campaign should make them want to stay, even if they would rather die.
And then, just like that, I was back at my desk. No elevator, no footsteps, just one blink, and I was back in my chair again. Which it whispered,
"He likes you. Try not to die."
And that's when Delilah appeared. No announcement, no reason, just the slow click of her heels and the way that the office seemed to shift when she entered, like everyone was pretending that they weren't watching. She leaned on my desk, tilting her head in that calculated, perfect way.
So, how about blue moons after the blood moon?
I tried to protest. Something about deadlines or possibly still being emotionally compromised from the synergy hunt. But she wasn't really asking.
"I'll see you,"
she said, smiling like it was both a promise and a warning all at once. And then she slid a scrap of paper towards me with a time and a place. I didn't pick it up. Not yet. The plant rustled behind my monitor.
"She'll eat you alive, and I don't like to share."
The rest of the day blurred. Jerry wandered by, muttering about cell merge errors and the damned. Lila floated past with a designed mock-up that screamed when you scrolled too fast, and my chair kept making little humming noises like it was thinking very hard about something. And by the time that I got home, or what passes for home here, I realized that I was holding Delilah's note in my hand. I didn't remember picking it up. I set it down on the counter, and the paper pulsed once, faintly, like it had a heartbeat. I'm a little nervous. I should stay home. I should work on the follow-up campaign Lucifer hinted at. I should really listen to the plant and the chair and the growing, sensible part of me that knows better. But I think I'm gonna go. God help me. If that's still an option, I'm going. Entry 9. Relocation, loss, and the coldest thing that Lucifer has ever said to me. I don't remember last night. Not the date, not the blood moon, and not even how I got home. That's not me being dramatic. I mean, I remember nothing. It's just gone, like a corrupted file. 1 minute, I was holding a slip of paper from Delilah with a time and a place, and the next, I was walking up to my floor, still in yesterday's clothes, my head pounding and my mouth coated with a kind of flavor that makes you wonder if your body is warning you about itself. It wasn't just bad taste. It was layers of bad taste. The wheat sweet tang of the Blue Moon beer, the bright citrus juice of the orange, and underneath it all, that sharp, unmistakable chemical burn of formaldehyde. I sat there for a while, breathing slowly, trying to will my stomach to behave. My hand shook when I poured coffee. The smell of it didn't help. Neither did the fact that I couldn't quite shake the feeling that something was missing. Not from my memory, but from me. And the walk to work was wrong. It's hard to explain unless you've spent time here, but Hell's corridors usually hum with something. The background noise of endless suffering, the whisper of 1,000 regrets brushing past you, the occasional burst of laughter from a coworker 3 cubicles away who just found a new way to weaponize irony. But this morning, nothing. No voices, no flickering shadow in the corners of my vision, just silence and my own footsteps. And when I reached my office, my desk wasn't there. At first, I thought that I was in the wrong place. I even turned around twice, checking the hallway number like maybe the floors had shifted again, but no. My little slice of the open plan purgatory was gone. And so was the ficus that cursed at people when they overwatered it. So was the coffee station that sometimes moaned if you took the last cup. And in their place, at the far end of the unfamiliar corridor, was a frosted glass door with my nameplate taped to it in perfectly centered Helvetica. And the room beyond could have been anywhere. No, that's not right. It couldn't have been anywhere else. It didn't feel like hell at all, and somehow that was worse. It was small, too neat, and completely impersonal. There was this single metal desk, a single straight-backed chair, bare white walls, no hum, no flicker, no sense of something watching me from the vents. It was cold. Not the biting cold of ice, but the hollow kind. The absence of heat. The absence of anything. No talking chair under me, no vine curling across the desk to tap my wrist. No low, familiar background of my team moving through their own private tortures. Just me. And I was standing in the doorway, my coat half off, when the shadow of the far wall changed shape. It stretched upward, impossibly tall, and then Lucifer stepped into it like he'd been standing there all along.
"I've relocated you,"
he said, voice smooth as glass,
"to help you focus."
And I just stared at him. Focus on what?
"On the work. You've been performing better than expected, Eric. Far better. And I can't have my best worker distracted."
Something in his tone told me that this wasn't up for debate. And still, my mouth betrayed me. Distractions? You mean
your fellow office mates? The siren, the plant, the talking chair.
The last words were spoken like he was reading them from a report that he didn't believe in. And I felt something in my stomach knot up. What happened to them? Lucifer's pause was deliberate. He took a single step towards me, close enough that the air seemed too thin. And then he turned slightly, just enough for me to see the faint, calculated curve of his mouth.
"You think,"
he said, each word slow and precise,
"that in hell, you can have friends?"
His eyes locked on mine, and the room felt smaller.
"No,"
he continued, softer now, almost like he was explaining something to a child.
"No, my dear boy. Not even here. You should keep that in mind next time you get close to anyone."
And I swallowed hard. So where?
"I had them all eviscerated.
And the way that he said it, flat, factual, was worse than shouting. He didn't smirk, he didn't savor it. He just said it like a man stating the weather. And then he turned and walked out, leaving the words behind him like a cold draft. I don't know how long I stood there, staring at the door, long enough for my coffee to go lukewarm in my hand, long enough for my legs to start aching from standing still. The desk was empty when I finally sat down. The chair made no sound, and the air didn't move. It should have felt peaceful, but it didn't. It felt like being buried alive in a box just big enough to type in. And I opened my monitor. The screen lit up instantly, bright and blank. No welcome message, no blinking flame icon, no one watching. Or maybe everyone was. If you've been following this blog for the humor, for the absurdity of hell's corporate culture, for the weird little updates about my plant in the chair or Delilah, I'm sorry. This isn't one of those posts. This is me remembering exactly where I am. I'm not in some ironic afterlife parody. I'm not the protagonist of a quirky workplace comedy. I'm in hell. And the devil is my boss. And sometimes, it reminds me exactly what that means. Entry 10. A scratching in the vents, and why I'm starting to think evisceration doesn't always stick. It's my second morning in the new office. I use the word morning loosely. There's no sunrise here. Just a shift in the overhead lighting from oppressive glare to damp basement yellow. I don't know if it's psychological or deliberate, but the dimmer it gets, the more that I feel like I'm underwater. I woke up in my cot in the same clothes that I worked in yesterday. I don't remember lying down. I don't remember eating. I don't remember the taste in my mouth. Still faint, still there, the blue moon, orange formaldehyde. I don't know how it was still there, but it was fainter now, but stubborn. Like it was in my bloodstream, you know? And I sat there for a while staring at the wall. And eventually I stood up, walking the cold corridors back to my office. And I tried to tell myself that today I would get some real work done. Unfortunately, the new office hadn't changed. It was still sterile, still uncomfortably quiet. I've tried adding things to it. My mug, a stack of notepads, the paperclip sculpture I made during a particularly long onboarding meeting my first week here. But they look wrong in this place. Too personal. The white walls seem to push back at them, like the room itself is rejecting any sign of individuality. The chair is an ergonomic standard issue model that doesn't groan, sigh, or offer unsolicited marketing advice. It doesn't warm when I sit on it. It doesn't hum when I'm close to a good idea. It just exists, holding me up because that's what it's built to do. And the absence of the plant is worse than I expected. I keep glancing at the far left corner of the desk like maybe a vine will curl towards me, ready to make some cryptic observation about my energy. Instead, there's just space. So I continue to try to work. But around mid-morning, just as I was revising the onboarding copy for Monster Mash, I heard it. A faint, irregular scratching from the wall behind me. At first I thought that it was just the building, a duct settling, pipes expanding, but when it came again, it wasn't random this time. 3 slow scratches, a pause, and then 2 quick ones. And I froze. Hell has plenty of noises, but this was different. It wasn't environmental, it was directional. Like something was trying to draw my attention. I turned back to my screen and I tried to ignore it, but it didn't stop. And by the time lunch came around, I use lunch here to mean the designated break window where they pipe in the scent of food but give you nothing. I had started to recognize patterns in the sound. Not words exactly, but cadences. And then, just before the noise stopped completely, I could have sworn that I heard a whisper between scratches. A single faint word. Eric. I didn't tell anyone. Not that I have anyone to tell. The whole point of this relocation was no distractions, and I'm not about to give Lucifer a reason to think that my productivity is slipping. Besides, I'm not entirely sure that I didn't imagine it. But it's hard to work when you keep thinking about what he said. About them being eviscerated. The thing is, I don't know what that means here. In the normal sense, sure, but in hell? How final is it? Are you erased, recycled, repurposed? Or do you just get moved somewhere worse? I've been here long enough to know that gone doesn't always mean gone. Lucifer had dropped my next project on my desk sometime after the lights shifted to afternoon, though I never saw him enter. It's another brand initiative. This time was what he was calling the Forever Experience. No context, just the name, and a single line creative brief. Make it sound inevitable, but aspirational. Normally, I would be excited to sink my teeth into something this open-ended, but my head wasn't in it. I kept staring at the wall behind me, waiting for the sound to come back. Right before I was going to leave, it returned. Fainter this time, but clearer. The same slow scratch, pause, quick scratch pattern. Only now, there was more whispering. I couldn't make out most of it. But every so often, I would catch a sound. The shape of a word I thought that I knew. One of them was careful, and the other was run. The last one made my skin go cold. Not gone. I'm going to stay late tomorrow. See if the noises come back when the building is emptier. I don't know if I'm looking for proof that I'm not losing my mind or if I'm actually wanting to hear them again. I just know this. If Lucifer was telling the truth, then what the hell is in the walls with my name in its mouth?